My name is Graham Long and I'm the pastor and CEO of the Wayside Chapel in Sydney's King's Cross. My family moved to Adelaide and I had no idea really what I wanted to do. And I fluked a job in the public service, and I saw what social workers did. And as soon as I saw what social workers did, I knew without a doubt that's what I wanted to do. After ordination, I became minister in Castle Hill, and then I moved to Pendle Hill after a couple of years. And I helped develop and run a welfare agency for a denomination. In that time, I was also a prison chaplain at Parramatta Prison. That was a very successful thing that started with no employees, finished with 22 employees after about 10 years. And then a bit of a midlife crisis, which was all my own fault. Saw myself become a postie, and not particularly a very good one. You know, this is enough now, it's starting to kill me. And she said, resign, who cares? And within a day I had a phone call from the Wayside Chapel. And I'd never been to the Wayside Chapel, I knew of it, but I'd never been here. But as soon as I got that phone call, I knew with every cell in my body, this was going to be a good fit. The Wayside Chapel started in 1964 by a fellow called Reverend Knopf, who was very well known, still is a very well known name. And it was, you know, it's 1964, the world was changing, you know, Australia was changing, and Ted kind of rode the wave of that change. So the Wayside Chapel became famous for lots of things which now wouldn't raise any eyebrows, but back then was, you know, groundbreaking. So Wayside has always been a place that cared for people who didn't fit anywhere else, essentially. As King's Cross has developed, so has Wayside. It's changed with the environment. We used to have a single shower at the back, which was, access to that was through the alleyway. So people had to get their towel and their clothes and walk out into the public street and down the alleyway and into our one shower that we had. We had a mechanism on that made it go stone cold after a few minutes, which is the only way to get people out. 40% of our old building was condemned. So our programs are expanding and our building was shrinking. So we had a real problem. And what we've got now is amazing. We've got showers, a laundry, emergency clothing room, home for our op shop. We've got a floor devoted for the use of Aboriginal people. We started with no money at all. We finished with no debt. That was pretty cool. I say that and I'm a bit scared that I make that sound easy, and it wasn't easy. But I think even more, I'm more proud of the team we've built rather than the buildings we've built. Because in the end, the building is a tool. It's nothing more than a tool. Years ago, we had a dream that one day when we built this new building, we'd have a garden on the roof. And we dreamed that it would be a cutting-edge tool for people, especially with long-term mental health issues. And you can walk up there right now and you'll find people gardening and harvesting their veggies and stuff. I've been in meetings with quite important people and had the door slam open to somebody show me their little handful of strawberries that they've grown or whatever it is. And really, it turned out to be a much more important event than the meeting I was in. There's bees up there and we're harvesting our honey. There's worm farms up there and there's compost. People are growing this stuff and then they're learning to cook with it in our teaching kitchen. And then there's food being eaten out through the cafe. Very, very cool. People who walk into Wayside often walk in on the worst day of their lives. They've burned their supports and family and all of that. And the one thing they all know is that they're alone. And if you can overcome that sense of loneliness, if you can overcome that sense to the point where people know that there are others around them and for them, they will move towards health under their own steam. I say that when people walk out of here feeling met rather than worked on, we've had a very good day, and that makes us quite unusual. It's very hard to walk into a place and not be met by a clipboard with people with a bunch of boxes to tick to find out what kind of problem are you. This is such a rich, wonderful community, and there are gifts everywhere, and all we have to do is see them and unwrap them and enjoy them. So I think that's where Wayside's contribution will be. There are lots of physical things. We're going to build a commercial kitchen and help train people and that kind of thing. Our hall we're going to deck out so it's professionally capable of doing plays and that sort of thing. There's another whole area of training. And I think those ideas will keep coming. You know, maybe one day we'll have a dentist chair in here, and maybe one day we'll have a doctor's surgery or something, and you know, somebody will have to give me another building. But you know, who knows?